I do have concerns that it's not going to be this new lovely empathetic thing as soon as we're all allowed out again, partly because a lot of people are going to be worse off for a long time. It's going to take a long time for an economic recovery, so there's going to be a lot of, what about me? Oh, we're reopening. Things are opening up again. Hey Josh, are you really excited about that? You excited to see things open? Well, a little bit yes. A little bit I'm cautious because while the term new normal gets bandied around a lot, and I have seen some articles saying, oh, we're all going to be so much more empathetic about everything now, I am reserving my excitement in that space. Having seen the aftermath of lots of devastating and tragic events, not just in Australia, but globally as well, and watching people retract quickly from the outpouring of support, I do have concerns that it's not going to be this new lovely empathetic thing as soon as we're all allowed out again, partly because a lot of people are going to be worse off for a long time. It's going to take a long time for an economic recovery, so there's going to be a lot of, what about me? I need to do this. Well, I've got to do it or else I won't stay afloat sort of attitude, which doesn't foster great community outcomes or great impact outcomes or great awareness of other people and their situations. I guess a great example of that is we just came out of the bushfires that were tragic. We had a lot of really transactional sort of outpouring, a lot of knee-jerk fundraising, a lot of social media traction. The newspapers were full of stuff, and we're all patting ourselves on the back for how great we are as Australians. And then we go straight into COVID. The first thing that happens is people empty the shops because they're going, oh, you know, we all need this stuff. And some people went and bought 10 lots of toilet paper and were hoarding it or intending to sell things, sure. And that's like one class of opportunistic consumers / sellers. Then you've got this next level, which is, I'm just going to buy 2 packets of toilet paper because what if there's none next time when I go back or when I need them? And I'm not being selfish, I'm just being sensible. But those like 2 times toilet paper people did just as much damage as everybody else. And instead of everyone just buying what they needed, there's a shortage and people are left behind, and it's a nightmare of people fighting in the supermarket. So very quickly we forgot this sense of community when all of a sudden it hit home for a lot of people. It was like their problem now as well, not some problem somewhere else where they can be like, oh, I'm so magnanimous and generous and helping over there. So as we start to re-emerge, a lot of people are going to be bouncing back economically, trying to find jobs, get their businesses back on track, go back to full hours, try and get their money back, all this sort of thing. And businesses have a really strong case for saying, oh, we're doing this to make money or we're doing this for cash flow. And those sorts of behaviours are what I'm concerned about. And I think what we're going to see is a lot of people try and undercut people price-wise, oversell what they can do, and later on that will come back to haunt people because you can't undersell to the point where you're no longer able to function as an organisation or a business. You're going to end up driving yourself into the ground. But you're also going to reset the expectations of the market if that carries on for a while, where now everyone thinks, oh, I can get a coffee for 30 cents, what's all the rest of the money for? Or I can get a gym membership for $1 a year, or I can buy clothes for 6 cents each. And all those sorts of things, which, listen, as a business owner, and I understand the challenges of cash flow, I understand you want to get things happening. But what they do later on is in 2021, no one wants to pay $4 for a coffee. And if you don't pay $4 for a coffee, you actually can't run a cafe. It's not possible. And if you don't pay more than 6 cents for a t-shirt, well, someone somewhere is getting very badly treated to make that t-shirt for 6 cents. So we have this sort of non-virtuous circle, which ends up ruining the businesses that are trying to get ahead by getting in front early, ruining the market expectation of price and things, and then later on, the recovery becomes so much more difficult. So what I'd encourage people to do is focus on where you are. Look after your suppliers, pay them. Don't try and screw them on price to save your bottom line. Pay them what they need to be here in 12 months' time, 24 months' time. If you've got 20 clients and 10 of them have jobs and are able to pay what they've been paying, and then 10 of them don't have jobs or are in severe economic distress, then keep the prices the same and then give the 10 who can't afford it a chance to just come along on some kind of deal that you've worked out with them individually. There's several reasons for why that's a good thing. One, it means you have to pay attention to the people that you deal with and that you know, the people you have a hand on. And those people are the ones that you should be starting with to do good. You shouldn't be looking miles away first off before you look at the people near you. Look after your staff, look after your clients, look after your suppliers. And then you have to pay attention to them for the long term, which again is great. The attention, the care, all those things, the community help bring people out of tough economic times. And then as you do that as well, you also help transition them into, hopefully, fully paying customers as they start to get back on track and they get in a position to be able to do that. And hopefully in that process, you develop a little bit of rapport and loyalty. Sometimes you won't, and that's okay because you've done the right thing. If instead you take the 10 that can pay and the 10 that don't, and you try for a price that's like 30% of what you were charging before, you end up running yourself into the ground, doing yourself a disservice. The 10 that could pay don't really care that much. The 10 that couldn't are still probably a little bit overpaying because they're really struggling right now. And then later on, when you're not around, you can't service anybody, you can't look after anybody. Everyone around you is fighting against your poster that says that this service is super cheap when it's not. And so that becomes a challenge. So what I'd really like people to do is focus on looking after the people they've got a hand on and trying to keep things in a way that allow them to move for the next 24 months instead of just jumping on something now that's going to cause them problems later on.